We are lucky and blessed to have a special guest with us from Los Angeles. And he has had 25 years of experience with metaphysical studies and Eastern mysticism. In 2001, he graduated as a licensed practitioner from the Agape International Spiritual Center in Los Angeles. He has been doing nothing but spiritual growth and development for all this time in between. He speaks and teaches at spiritual centers in the tri-state area. And I kind of said you lived in Los Angeles, but you used to. And you now live in Spring City, Pennsylvania with your wife and 2 teenage boys, so I'm sure they're keeping you quite busy. You operate a real estate investment and property management company. So our speaker's topic today is called The Journey Within, Connecting to Your Divine Self, with the value and benefit and practical methodology of how we connect to that God within. So I'd like to give a warm circle welcome to Pankaj Sharma.
I want to thank you all for welcoming me into the circle of love. And in a morning like this, I really needed to be embraced in the circle of love. I've had, just in the last few days, I've had a business podcast on Friday that I needed to cancel. And then somebody had requested that I do something on Saturday, as far as like leading a meditation. And I had to cancel that as well, because I just been feeling so out of sorts lately. I'm a person who really doesn't pay much attention to what's happening in the media and the world. And I just kind of live my life and do my own inner work. But things of late have gotten to a point where I am obsessed to a point with what's going on in the world. And it's taking its toll on me. And so the greatest benefit and the highest priority that I've had in my life, and I've realized, is my connection to spirit, my conscious contact. And lately, I like to be transparent and honest. And as of late, that has been dwindling for me. I'm just not really at the space that I've been at lately. And so it's a real blessing for me to come here and to give so that I can make this reconnection. I have been little by little taking baby steps back into this place of connectedness, so to speak. But I feel more so disconnected than ever in a long period of time, that I've never been like this, So I understand that I try not to judge myself and judge my experience. I just try to I understand that life is full of vast amounts of experiences, and that you're going to be in all different spaces and places. And to allow things to be as they are is a form of acceptance, right? And really, the head will tell me that I'm supposed to be doing this, this, and that, and should all over myself, or I should be at this place. But I find that the base of the starting point, the greatest base and the greatest starting point, is acceptance of where we truly are as human beings and as spiritual beings. But at first, to embrace our humanness and what's really happening on so many different levels with us, mentally, emotionally, psychically, and spiritually. And so the topic of connecting to your divine self, the God within, and that journey, it's an ongoing journey. So one thing that I had to understand and to realize of late, when I say of late, I mean in the last few years, is that early on, years ago, when I started developing this connection with spirit and God, I felt like I had arrived. And there's no arriving point, because the journey is infinite, the connection is infinite. And so whatever that connecting point is, there's so many deeper layers. It's infinite. The journey within is infinite. The journey of that connection, the journey of being able to bring spirit into my life, and to dwell deeper and deeper within myself, and allow that which is within to shower through. The prayer that we did today was very, very beautiful and very simple. and very, very, very important, because that's what happens when I connect in to this inner self, to this self that is my innermost being, but it's right here, right now. It's not somewhere else, and it's not like I have to. It's so subtle and so simple, and yet it's so elusive at the same time, if that makes any sense. That it's right here, right now. It's the deepest part of who we are, and it is who we are, and yet we miss it because for many reasons. But main thing is our mind gets in the way. My mind gets in the way, right? And to just one of the key, and I'm not trying to set myself up as just a disclosure. I'm not trying to set up myself up as any authority, or anything I say is the gospel or anything. I'm just sharing my experience, and if I hope I don't want to come off as preaching anything, but I just want to come from a place of my own experience. So one thing that is common and true in this connection is this quietness, the space of quietness, the space of stillness. But even in that quietness and even in that stillness, there's activity. There is this sense of, because a lot of times when people meditate and the connection with your divine self is a place of silence, and it's a place of nothingness almost, it can be. And so people will miss it because it's because they're looking for something else other than what's there, if that makes any sense. Because it's like we have these ideas, this ideology, we have these concepts of what it should be like, rather than realizing the reality of what it is like for us, right? So years ago, I used to do this meditation. It was called the simple meditation, and I learned it from somebody. And it was just like you would do this breathing exercise. You would do a couple circular breathing for about 10, 15 minutes. I never did it that long. I would do it for a few moments. And then I would focus in on the heart center, like the center of the chest area, between like the anahata, what they call in India. And you feel the soft, subtle vibration there. And you just bring your awareness there to that heart center. And as you do, you start feeling and sensing this soft, subtle sensation. And so that where the attention goes, the energy flows, right? That which you focus upon expands. So when you focus upon this energy here, this energy starts to expand. And this is the seed of connection. This is one place. There's infinite ways to connect to spirit. So I'm only going to, I'm not going to give you an exhaustive treatise on connecting to God in any way, but I'm just going to share my experience and share a few things. But when I started doing that practice of connecting to this heart center and the spirit center and letting that be my meditation 15, 20 minutes a day, like you feel the energy and the flow coming from this area. And like I said, what you focus on expands. Where the attention goes, the energy flows. And so that energy starts to become the dominant experience of the flow from the heart center. And as it does, it just becomes at the same time a clearing, like what was in that prayer, clearing away of the dust and the grit of the journey, a clearing away of everything that I've latched on or things that whatever is latched on to me, because we're like an electromagnetic field. We're like sponges, right? We just absorb energy all the time. And ideas in our mind, concepts, ideologies are all energy. And so when I meditate, my connection to my innermost being allows me to be also at the same time simultaneously a space of clearing and letting go and dissolving energies that are absorbed in my electromagnetic field, known as thoughts, known as ideas, known as, could be fear, anxiety, could be emotions, but at the bottom line, it's all energy, right? And so this energy of the innermost being, right? Our spirit self, this energy, this intensity, this frequency, as we tune into it, as I tune into it, right? That it's like, like the scripture says that the Father within does the work. We don't do the work. Our work is to become aware, is to be conscious. And just through that awareness, through that consciousness, through that attention, and to that focus, the frequency does the work. and the frequency does the clearing. So many times, being a student of metaphysics for many years, I realized a long time ago that what the problem with metaphysicians are, we're so mental about everything, and we're so in our heads about everything, and the headspace is the land of the lost. Working simply in the mind is like writing in water with a sword and thinking that you're going to make some type of change in the world. And so going beyond just this talking and mental aspect into going into the real place of being is beyond words and beyond thoughts, right? Thoughts are still going to be there. Thoughts are like birds, like the Buddha is saying, like you can't stop the birds from flying around, but you can stop them from building a nest, right? So the thoughts, as I go into the place of stillness and centeredness, I think these thoughts will arise and fall. Thoughts will come and go. There's just streams of energy that continue to be. And in the midst of it, like, even the quantum physicist says, when that which is aware changes that which is being focused on, or I'm not saying it right, but you know what I mean? But like the witness changes that which is witnessed, which is a better way of saying it. So the observer, just by being the observer, being the awareness that the thoughts arise and fall, and the quality of our thoughts even start to change, right? And holding a space of this frequency, it's like all this other stuff that I'm not even aware of, that I'm holding about myself or about the world or about these thoughts, they all start to come up. One of the biggest problems that I've experienced, or problems or challenges, I'd like to say, I've experienced in my meditation practice is when I get still, what happens? When I get to a place of stillness, what happens? Sometimes it's blissful, but a lot of times you become aware of places that are holding pain, places of discomfort. And then there's this fight almost back and forth between like the beingness and then, oh, this is happening here, this is happening here, this energy here. So because that which is we're unconscious of becomes to the consciousness. It comes into our awareness. Not so that we can hold it in, but so that we can let it go. And then we can see, as I do with me, and I don't feel like you're probably similar because we're human beings. There's a tendency on the subconscious level, even that we're holding this stuff in and we don't even know it, and there's whatever it is, our self-will holds it. And that song was so beautiful, like surrendering to love, right? Surrendering to love, and also surrendering and letting go and allowing love, this frequency within, to wash away and let go of that which is on some level familiar to us, even if it's painful, because we have a tendency to cling to that which is familiar rather than to embrace the mystery, embrace the unknown, and to walk in faith and trust. So connecting to the divine self, connecting to the place of stillness is also, like I say, a place of clearing, of allowing old ideologies, things from the collective consciousness that people believe in, the fear, the worry, the doubt, all this stuff, to clear from within ourselves. And as I am lifted up, right, as I raise my consciousness and do my work, I feel doing a great service to the world. That, like the old saying from Lao Tzu is, if you really want to change or serve the world, the greatest service you can do is your own self-transformation. And it's 3 lines, and it's been years since I've read it. So, but the bottom line talks about is like, eliminate, if you want to eliminate the darkness in the world, first start with eliminating the darkness within yourself. And so this conscious contact, this place of connecting to spirit at the same time, is this also a washing away of the dust and grit of the journey, and a freeing ourselves from lower densities, lower frequencies, whether it's fear, whether it's anxiety, whether it's, all the different names you talk about it. But at the bottom level, it's energy. And you have, scientifically, there's a term called entrainment. So that when you have 2 vibrations that come together, when something is at a higher frequency, the lower frequency will entrain and rise up to the higher frequency. So same thing when we're tuning into that inner frequency, right? That frequency, there's a frequency of perfect health. There's a frequency of perfect peace. There's a frequency of all love. There's a frequency of abundance. And it's beyond words. It's beyond our mental concepts and ideologies. And so we tune more into the frequency, right? And allow that to resonate. That frequency then becomes the Father within doing the work. So